Well, as the title said, let's talk Pokemon Investing 2024. Now, this is going to be a bit of a longer format video. So if you're someone that just likes to listen to, a YouTube video or a podcast while you're driving, or while you're doing some housework at home, or you've got the AirPods in while you're going for a walk, or whatever the reason might be, you're just chilling on the couch with it playing on the TV in the background, this is probably going to be the sort of video for you, because all we're going to do is talk Pokemon card investing for however long I can basically rant for. If you haven't heard before, basically my videos, I press play and I talk. There's not, which sounds bad because there's a fair bit of planning that goes into a video, or a little bit of planning, but half the time it's just what spits off the tongue almost. But I don't do flashy edits. I don't cut my videos. I don't, for the most part, I don't replay or redo any parts of my video. I click play, I sit back, I might get the occasional comment, Michael's or Pokeoz is stumbling over his words. Well, yeah, that's because I basically hit play and talk. So that's what this is going to be, a longer format video about Pokemon investing. So like I said, pop the AirPods in, chuck it on the car while you're driving, chuck it on the TV while you're chilling on the couch, and let's just talk Pokemon investing for the next 20 minutes or so. Hey, before we get into it, YouTube, you've probably seen a bit of controversy, I guess, or a bit of footage or videos or whatever the reason might be or format might be around AI coming to YouTube, and, some controversy around whether it's going to be allowed or monetized. You know what? These are my thoughts on it, and this is almost what this style of video is. I think, there's a place for it. There's certainly a place for it. Like, I'm not a huge fan of shorts being on, the YouTube shorts, shorts being on YouTube in the first place. Like, we've got TikTok, we've got Instagram Reels, Facebook has those little shorts now as well. Like, it just seems like every format is making people's, brain think quicker and move on faster. And, I don't think that's what YouTube should be for. YouTube has always been this really good platform for creators to essentially let creators create. Create really nice videos that people like to listen to, or entertaining videos that people like to watch and listen to, or, a place where discussions or podcasts or those sort of things can take place. So I don't think it's a place where we should, if you don't, it's the old argument, if you don't want to watch it, then don't watch it, tune out from it. I don't think it should be a place for shorts, and I certainly don't think it should be a place for AI generated content. That's just my personal opinion. I think it should be a place to let creators create. And, one thing I love to do, and hence the reason for this video, is I love to just listen to people that are experts on their topic talk. It's just one of the nicest things to do, I think. Whether you're at the gym, whether you're going for a walk, just putting the headphones in, or even while you're driving, and just listen to an expert talk about their field or their topic. It's just, I guess, refreshing and nice to listen to. So I'm not proclaiming to be an expert. I've been in the field of Pokemon cards for quite some time, and for the most part, I think I know what I'm talking about. So if you think I'm an expert, that's great. Let's tune in and get started. Hey, we're going to talk through lots of topics today from Pokemon, and I wanted to start off with, I suppose, it's not really a hot topic, but it is a little bit of a hot topic, and that's the whole rotation policy, okay? And there is some sets on, I think it's April 5th this year, going out of rotation. So we're seeing sets like Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, to name big three, that are going out of rotation this April. In case you don't know what it is, okay, every 2 years there's competitive cards that you can use in tournaments, and after that 2 years is up, they have new sets of cards that you can use in tournaments, so they black out or block out cards from the past that you can no longer use. They're not tournament legal. You've got to use the new ones. And of course, there's business reasons behind that, because if you're keeping old ones in play all the time, well, people aren't going to buy your new product if you're a player of the game, not a collector. If you're a player of the game, you're less likely to buy the new product because you don't need to, because you can keep using your old decks or your old cards. So, it's a smart move from the Pokemon company. There's a little symbol in the bottom left-hand corner of each card, a letter, and that denominates what the rotation is for that card. And we've got some big sets going out of rotation on April 5th this year. And when it comes to those, particularly people like to use the term reprint in conjunction with that denomination on the bottom of the card. And reprints when it comes to cards that are going out of rotation is a bit of a contentious topic because, there has been in the past sets that have been reprinted once it's out of rotation. The most recent one would be probably a set like Shining Fates. But prior to that, it's quite unheard of. So from a Pokemon investing standpoint, we're about to see some really big sets hop out of rotation. Okay, we're getting Chilling Reign out of rotation, which is also sold out on Pokemon Center US. We're getting Evolving Skies jump out of rotation, and we're getting Fusion Strike as well jump out of rotation. Like, they are some big sets that are about to jump out. Now, what exactly does that mean for their box price? That's where that's the $1 million question, isn't it? I mean, we've already seen some good gains on Chilling Reign in the last 12 months. Evolving Sky, of course, just has so many damn hits inside it, it's not funny. And Fusion Strike has seen some big gains in the US. I've talked about the difference between Australian buyers and US buyers on Fusion Strike before. For some reason, we seem to have a lot more supply in Australia in Fusion Strike than what you guys do in the US. Like, our prices are still, I haven't checked it about a month, but I was still buying Fusion Strike booster boxes for 180, like 175, 180 Australian dollars, which is like, 105, 110 US a month ago. So, whereas you check on TCG Player a month ago in the US and they're sitting around $150 a box for Fusion Strike. So there's a discrepancy there between Australian Fusion Box booster box price and US booster box price. So, proof will be in the pudding. It's funny the growth we quite often see on Pokemon cards, like particularly when it comes down to a main set with a booster box. And especially when it's getting out of rotation, because people might have in their head that once it's out of rotation, we should start seeing this massive jump north like we did with Sun and Moon sets. But that's not always going to be the case. Those Sun and Moon sets are very different and very particular. And speaking about Sun and Moon sets, I'm going to get onto those in a second. But, will we see this massive trajectory north for Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, etc.? I don't know. And probably not. I think it's always funny, Pokemon card booster boxes, because, they're not just, this trajectory north or uptick in price isn't linear. Like, it never seems to be. It can go sideways for a long period of time and have massive amounts of growth in a short period of time, or it can be quite linear. It can be up and down a little bit with a, a sort of worm heading in a linear trajectory upwards. But more often than not, like, something becomes the flavor of the month and all of a sudden it goes bang in price. And, probably testament to that, and I said I'd get onto Sun and Moon in a second, is Sun and Moon, okay? Particularly those last 4 tag team sets from, of course, the likes of Team Up, Unbroken Bonds, Cosmic Eclipse, and Unified Minds. Those sets, although they came out of the blocks relatively hot sort of a year after launch, they've come out even stronger, at the 3 or 4 year mark, and they've just gone bang in 2023. Like, we've seen massive growth for those 4 sets. Like, we're talking, 40, in some cases, 80% growth on booster box price across 2023 now that it's hit that 4-year-old mark, now that it's out of rotation, now that there's literally, next to no chance that set's ever going to be reprinted again. And that's what it comes down to for, like, I can't see, especially when they go out of rotation, I can't see Evo Skies, Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign ever getting another reprint. Like, that is just, it would be so left of field that it's not funny. And the other thing you got to remember is we're also behind, much like, other things that happened during COVID. Things were locked down and the competitive play from Pokemon was locked down. So we're actually a year behind where we should be of transferring cards out of competitive rotation and competitive play. So, that's something to keep in mind with those sets. I think from an investing standpoint, if you can pick up something like a Fusion Strike booster box here in Australia for $180, I haven't checked the last month, they could well be $200 a box now or $210 a box. Things can move that quickly in the space of a month. So if you can pick them up somewhere around the $200 mark, which is like, $115, $120 US, I think you've got yourself a bit of a deal there. Fusion Strike is a beautiful set. Chilling Reign's a beautiful set. They're going to be really good pickups around that sort of price. Now, the next topic I wanted to have a little bit of a chat about is this whole, I suppose, seeding of cards and I can't think of the exact word, but basically putting limited numbers of a card, like Magic the Gathering, or like autographed cards in NBA cards, inside of Pokemon. You know, there's been some talk about it. Do we need it? My take on it is no. Like, and it's probably similar to a lot of other sort of, I suppose, you know, Pokemon investors / speculators out there that, you know, once you start serializing, so to speak, or putting limited numbers of cards in your set, you're trying to get people on the hook to buy your product. And it's like you almost come across a little bit desperate, for lack of a better word. And, you know, you're not really, because I actually like the concept. I think it's cool. I would sort of like to see it, but then for the hobby, I don't want to see it. Because, you know, imagine that. Like I don't know, let's say we get a serialized Charizard. Like there's only 100. Imagine how many people would be ripping packs to get this one of 100 Charizard. And then, you know, all of a sudden there's 75 have been certified and known in existence, and there's still 25 left. Imagine having those boxes. Do you keep them sealed? Because you've got that prestige of what might be inside it. There could well be one of those last 25 Charizards sitting inside this box. Or do you open it for the chase for it? Because one of those 100, like surely it's going to be a $10,000 card straight out of the box before you even get it graded. So personally, I think that would be really cool as a concept that I would like. And then I'd, you know, trying to get your hands on those boxes. Imagine how dear the boxes would be, even at launch. So, you know, I think the idea is cool, but as in terms of how it comes across to the greater community in the hobby, it feels like, I suppose, a bit of a desperate lunge, does it? I don't know. You're just trying to reel people in with something new and exciting. Like, is your TCG that dead that you need to do that just to keep people hooked and on the line with it all? So there's definitely two sides of the story. I can see the cool side, but then from my personal point of view, I don't think it's going to be overall a good thing for the hobby. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about, I suppose, across 2023 and 2024 is the amount of new people that are in the space in terms of content creators. And that's going to lead me through to the amount of new people that are in the hobby based on one of the amazing sets that come out in 2023. And I think you can all think of what it is. So I've seen, even since I've started doing YouTube, which was, I think, well, I looked back on the numbers and it was April 2023 that I think I posted my first short. I had some stupid old Pokemon Go screen grabs from years ago, and one of them sort of went half viral probably 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, and got like, I don't know, something stupid, 400,000 views or something. And, you know, but I never used YouTube other than that. Like I literally just put them up there and forgot about it, and then come back and I was like, wow, yeah, okay, this little short's taken off. But even when I look back, and I came into the hobby in April, about April 25th last year, and to see the number of Pokemon, I suppose, investing-based channels or data-based channels back then compared to now, like it's really, really rapidly grown. So my only advice, look, and I wanted to say there's some awesome people in the hobby. I still watch some other people's videos. Of course, why wouldn't you? Not just for inspiration, but you know, if you surround yourself with a group of like-minded people, you're bound to learn stuff off them. There's stuff in the hobby that I don't know and I still need to learn. And there's stuff in the hobby that some of these other content creators probably don't know and need to learn. So there's some awesome people in the hobby. There's people that open multiple packs and give us amazing data on new sets. There's people that talk some really good investment-based content for the hobby. There's people that talk some really good collecting-based content for the hobby. So what I'm getting at is it's just massively grown for the hobby in the last probably 12 months. The amount of creators I see on there producing content, ripping packs, etc. It's become quite a competitive landscape. So there's a couple of points to take away from that. One, if you're new and you want to give it a go and you want to see if you can get monetized on YouTube and start earning some additional income from enjoying your hobby and sharing the hobby with other people, just be aware, like, it's not easy. I didn't find it easy. It's not easy at all. Trying to build up that community of people that actually want to listen to you, that's the hardest part. Like, what do you have to offer that's different to other people? And I had to ask myself that question. It's a pretty difficult sort of personal reflection question, like, what makes you special, mate? Like, if you're sort of, voice inside your head asking you that, what makes you special, Michael? Why are people going to want to listen to you? And, that was sort of my journey, and I'll get back to that in a second. But the other thing I think, as someone new to the hobby or new to the investing space, is, seeing through the mud, so to speak. Like, when it comes to picking up advice off people, just with this sheer number of people now, content creators in that space, just do your due diligence and make sure that the person that you're listening to actually has some sound advice and can back it up, maybe with some experience, because there's probably some people who just say, pick up this, pick up this, pick up this, without, I think if you're telling someone to, it's almost a bit arrogant to tell someone they should buy it. I will only do that if, I suppose, if there's a reason for it. Like, I'm not just going to be like, oh, we'll go buy Paldea Evolve. Like, that's going to go to the moon. Why, Michael? Well, unless you can sort of back it up with some evidence and something behind it, some substance, like, it's pretty arrogant to make that sort of claim, because, who are you to know that? Who am I to know what's going to go up in price? I can create theories, and, whether it's based on the hits inside the set, past performance of similar base sets, you can come to some sort of conclusion. But generally, if I'm putting a point of view forward around buying something and suggesting to other people to go spend money on something, which is quite an arrogant thing to do, then I would try and back it up with some sort of evidence behind it or reason behind it. So what I'm getting at is that if you're new to the hobby, or even if you've been in the hobby for a while, just be careful about who you're listening to and who you're watching and the advice you take, because, at the end of the day, it is just as much as I hate, it's painful to say, it is a speculative investment. It hasn't been out for that long, Pokemon, okay? It shouldn't be something that you're dumping tens of thousands of dollars into if that's all you've got. It should be something that, I'm not brave enough to put more than 5% into Pokemon. Like, that's just, and hey, if it all goes to zero and I lose 5%, at least I've had a great fun time along the journey, and I can rip open all my sealed product and hopefully pull some Charizards, Umbreons, 151 Master Ball Pikachus, and everything else in between. So, that's what I just wanted to make clear around that. Just try and be a little bit choosy about who you watch. Now, on that journey that I said I'd go back to, if you're thinking about starting in this space, the journey can be quite difficult, and I wasn't really sure how to go about it. I had no YouTube experience. In fact, I have no camera work experience or editing experience, or I'm not great on computers. In fact, I've got a computer at home, but I don't even really use it. So it was all new territory for me, and I didn't know how to go about it. So if you're starting in this space, I don't know if you can take anything away from this, but I just wanted to talk really quickly about what I did. I thought, you know what? No one's really going to want to listen to me straight off the bat for a long form video. Like, I thought I'd just put some shorts out there. Pack opening shorts, rate this card shorts. And, if some of them start getting a few views and it starts, I suppose, bringing some attention to the channel somehow, maybe once that attention starts rolling on, I can put a couple of long form videos in there, and maybe people will start watching the long form videos. And how I was wrong, because I put a video up and I think it got 6 views. 6. How much of a kick in the guts is that? And the monetization rules for YouTube, they're pretty hard. It's 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. So 6 views ain't going to get you many watch hours, especially if the average duration was 2 minutes. That's going to get you 12 minutes out of your 4,000 hours. I think my next video might have got 9 or 10 and then 15 views. And I thought, you know what, let's just persist. I'm not one to roll over and just give up. I think I've got some good knowledge to share in this space. I'd love to build a community around this space, and I'm just going to keep chipping away. And I can remember seeing this little meme, and it was a guy, a little cartoon character, like probably a Smurf or someone looking like that, or a little miner. He was mining away, and you could see the path he'd been digging through the dirt underground. He'd turned around with a pickaxe over his back and shoulder, and literally where he'd stopped, there was like another foot of dirt and then 100 gems sitting beside the dirt on the other side. And that sort of stuck with me throughout the whole YouTube journey, in that it just was a reminder not to give up. Like, it's a reminder that, yeah, you might not feel like videos are going great at the moment. And yeah, you feel like you're putting in hours and you're not getting anywhere. You're not getting paid a cent for it. But, you know, who knows? You could be one video away from something going half viral and, you know, getting you half of your watch hours in one video. And I got lucky. I think I put out a video that ended up getting about 4,000 or 5,000 views and got me like, you know, 800 watch hours or something. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I will get there. Maybe I will get that 4,000 watch hours and get monetized. And then I can remember getting monetized and, you know, things just started to, well, actually things died off when I got monetized. I don't know. A lot of people said once you get monetized, things are supposed to tip the other way and start kicking on, but they didn't for me. So I guess the whole moral of the story, I don't want to talk too much about myself. I want to talk more about Pokemon investing is if you're someone that's just gotten into the space and really, wanted to give the YouTube a go to earn some extra income and also enjoy your hobby with other people, then, you know, just keep going at it. Why not? Give it a go. What do you got to lose? And keep chipping away. Don't just give up after 5 videos because they don't take off. Keep going with it. And I just wanted to say to the fellow content creators, if any of them watch my video, or my videos, I should say, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the knowledge and content that you bring to the community. And let's keep going with it. You know, Pokemon's a fantastic hobby. The cards are brilliant, and let's just keep, you know, chipping away at it, everyone, and building each other up. There can be some negativity and stupidity in hobbies, and I don't stand for any of that. I don't get involved in any of that. So, yeah, let's just keep going with it. Next topic I want to talk about. This is going to be something that's brought a lot of people back to the hobby, and this is the best set from 2023. Hands down, no arguments, don't ever want to hear them, is of course Pokemon 151 and Scarlet and Violet 151. Now they're very similar but also very different. In case you don't know the differences between English 151 and Japanese 151, not only where they get printed, but the sets are a little bit different. We're missing out on 2 big chase cards in the English set. Of course, that Mew Alt Art and the the Mewtwo Alt Art, which which sucks. And sorry for calling them alt arts, they're illustration rares now, but it sucks. We miss those cards. We miss 2 chase cards. You can only get them in the UPC. And also we miss out on the Master Ball Hollows, which sucks. And I know, okay, the argument might be, well, it's a bit harder to seed in English because in the Japanese booster boxes, we've got 20 packs per box and we can just go bang, 1 Master Ball Hollow per box, which is what they do. In case you didn't know how the Master Ball Hollows work, that's what they do in Japanese 151. And we don't have a booster box in English. We've got all these different ancillary products, from poster collections to the UPC, to the Elite Trainer boxes, to the Zapdos collection box, and, you know, a few other things in between. So how do you appropriately seed Master Ball Hollows if you don't have a booster box? Because if we had the 36 pack booster box, you could just go, well, there's going to be 1 reverse Master Ball Hollow per booster box. And we know holiday sets don't get booster boxes in English. I don't know, but I feel like they still could have done it. Like, why not just, surely, like, it can't be that hard if you're talking on the production line. And I know so many millions and millions of cards, in fact, probably 1 billion 151 cards have been printed. But surely as you're putting your booster packs together, and like, I don't know exactly how it works, but I've looked at the footage, you know, when it comes to developing Pokemon cards, of course, you know, you got that design phase and the testing phase and the playing phase and then the rechanging phase, and, you know, put it out to the sort of community to see what their take on the card and feel on the cards is before it goes into mass production. And then, of course, you know, you get the sheets printed off and they get cut, and then, you know, they get seeded into a pack with, you know, 1 reverse holo. But if you can do that, if you can seed, you know, 1 reverse holo and the odd hits into different packs, surely every 30th pack or 20th pack, you could have put a reverse Master Ball holo. Like, how hard would that be? I don't imagine it being all that hard, personally, but maybe it was all too hard, or maybe they just wanted to keep English 151 different to Japanese 151. And I've made videos about English 151 before that it was so close to being the perfect set, but it just wasn't. It missed out on the Mew and the Mewtwo from the Ultra Premium Collection as promos that you can't get as hits in the set, and missed out on Master Ball Reverse Hollows. And I just felt it was lacking. It had some beautiful illustration rares and some really nice special illustration rares, but I just feel they missed the boat with a couple of the big Pokemon. Like, it was cool to see things like Dragonair get that illustration rare. I love that. Poliwhirl, Slowpoke. Like, but I don't know, maybe or maybe even just the whole illustration gallery. Like maybe if we got the regular 151 set and then we get this original Canto gallery of the original 151. Why couldn't we done something like that? Like how sick would that be? You've got to master the set, you've got to get your original 151, both normal and reverse holo. Then you've got this whole Canto gallery just full of every single original Pokemon with an alt art or illustration rare, I should say. And then still have some special illustration rares. Yeah, who knows? If I design 151, it'd probably have 4,000 cards inside the way I'm going. But on to Japanese 151, right? Like that is just bonkers. And we all know that that's you should know that's printed separately. So English cards get printed at Millennium Print Group. That is based in North Carolina, whereas Japanese cards get printed in Japan. And of course, the demand for Japanese cards across other parts of the globe now, whether it's UK, Europe, America, Canada, I should say US, Canada, because it is America, but US, Canada, Australia, the demand for Japanese Pokemon cards is growing and growing and growing. So, I don't know the ratio, right? Like it would be so hard to know. Like what's the ratio of English 151 cards versus Japanese 151 cards? Is it 5-1, 8-1, 3-1? As in, is there 3 times as many English 151 cards printed as Japanese? Is there 5 times as many? Is it pretty close, like a 1-to-1 ratio? I highly doubt it, but is it? Who knows? Like it's so hard to know. But what we do know is the demand for Japanese products is crazy, and how quickly that Japanese 151 booster box has risen in price. And I'm going to talk Australian dollars now, but only 3 or 4 months ago when I first bought it, when it was sort of, you could pick it up in Australia, it finally made its way down here. I was buying booster boxes for $230. I think I even picked one up for $220 Australian dollars. And very, very, very quickly, like they went to $270, $280, and then there was all these rumors around, this was in November probably, all these rumors around, December, January, we're going to see a reprint of the set, and, box prices are going to drop straight back down once we can get them at wholesale again from distributors. It's going to drop straight back down to that $225, $230 mark. So, don't waste your money at $270, $280. And what do we know now? Like you've probably got to pay $300 Australian for a box, or $310 or $320 even in some cases. So it's like it's following Evolving Skies again. It's like Groundhog Day. Evolving Skies, we got this reprint in Australia, and I was lucky and picked up a few more boxes at 190, 200 Australian a box, and then I went to 250 really quickly, and then I went to 280 really quickly, and everyone's saying, "Nah, hold off, it'll get another reprint. Evolving Skies will be printed again," and then it just didn't. And then I went to 300 a box, and then 350 a box, and 400 a box. And what do we know now? We're probably going to have to pay about $700 a box. So I guess my advice there when it comes to Japanese 151, a lot of people are saying, well, what if it gets reprinted? I mean, who cares? If it gets reprinted, what? You pay $300 for a box now, and it drops down to $250. Within 6 months, it'll be back to $300. Unless you plan on selling in 6 months, which is not really investing, it's more flipping, then, don't even worry. Like, don't even let that worry you. So if you want more Japanese 151, it's not a bad time to buy because you're almost hedging your bets, right? Because if it doesn't get reprinted, it's going to be $400 a box before we know it, probably in 6 months or 9 months' time. If it does get reprinted, it'll drop to $250, and then it'll be straight back to, $300 a box in another 6 months. So I really don't think that's something that you need to stress about. The other thing I want to talk about 151 is just the sheer number of people that have bought back into the hobby. Like, hats off, well done, clap to Pokemon Company International once again. Like, you've done it. You've brought so many people back into the hobby using one of the world's most amazing carrots, which is the word nostalgia. Like, you just can't beat it, can you? Like, that nostalgia just drives people back into the hobby, and it's going to be a set that people remember for a long, long time. 151. So, if it comes to investing in it, both English and Japanese, I think it's the best investment of 2023. And speaking about 2023 investments, Scarlet and Violet. I suppose there's been a few controversies around it, hasn't it? Like, kids still love it. Like, all the kids that come into work and kids of the colleagues that I work with, they can't get enough of it. They don't care. They don't know the difference between Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, really. They just want to open packs and get some shiny cardboard and pull their favorite Pokemon in, big, shiny colors. Like, it seems to be us, the investors or the adults, that seem to have half an issue with Scarlet and Violet. And the first one thing I want to make clear is, the first 4 sets of Scarlet and Violet are so much better than the first 4 sets of Sword and Shield in terms of, and you can even say Scarlet and Violet base is weak. Well, okay, yeah, you might be right. It might be weak, but surely it's better than Sword and Shield base. And look at prices of that. The issue with Scarlet and Violet versus Sword and Shield base is Scarlet and Violet saw a massive reprint when we saw that reprint of Lost Origin and Silver Tempest. And what else did we get a bit of Brilliant Stars as well? But anyway, it saw a reprint with that. When was it? Back in September, October, or whenever it was, August, September, October last year. So that sort of stagnated prices a bit compared to Sword and Shield base, which really didn't get printed as much as what Scarlet and Violet has. So, okay, yeah, the first 4 sets are better. Like, I don't think we can argue that point. We can't argue the first 4 sets of Sword and Shield have stronger cards inside them than the first 4 sets of Scarlet and Violet. Personally, I loved Vivid Voltage. I thought that was a cool set, but it just got absolutely printed into oblivion, didn't it? And box prices really have just been going sideways for the last 3 years. Like, they really just have not moved a great deal. So, like, is that going to happen to Scarlet and Violet? Like, if we keep getting reprints over the coming, 6 months or 12 months of these first 4 sets, maybe another small reprint of base, reprint of Paldea, a reprint of Obsidian, a reprint of Paradox, is it just going to leave prices sideways for the next 2 or 3 years? Well, quite possibly if that happens. But if it doesn't happen, I think people are going to realise that, Scarlet and Violet's a little bit better than what people give it credit for. There's a few changes, though. There's a few changes, and I want to talk through a couple of them. One is there's no, so far, big hits. We sort of, and there wasn't, don't get me wrong, there wasn't huge hits in the first 4 sets of Sword and Shield. We had the Rainbow Pikachu, we had Charizard VMAX there, which was holding strong from Darkness Ablaze for a while. But there wasn't really any massive chase cards from those sets that were holding strong, other than Rainbow Pikachu. But it just seems there's no strong ones. Maybe it's because we've come off the end of Sword and Shield and we've had things like Evolving Skies, which had 12 strong chase cards in it, all worth over $100 raw. And, we had Giratina, and we had Aerodactyl, and we had Lugia V, we had Charizard V, old art from Brilliant Stars. Maybe we're sort of hung up on those cards too much, and Scarlet and Violet's just, I don't know, where's the big chase so far? Yeah, the Iono's cool from Paldea. Yeah, the Magikarp's really nice. The Tyranitar, which I think is the 3rd most expensive card from Paldea. The Charizard from Obsidian is still, tanked a lot, but it's still holding okay. But, I'm excluding 151 here because I think that's a different kettle of fish. I'm just talking main sets. But, that's one difference, okay, is where's the big chase so far? The real big chase. Where's the 4 big chases in a set? Excuse me, I've been under the weather a little bit this week, so apologise. My voice is probably a little bit croaky, but, so where's the 4 big chases? And the other big shift, and I did a video on this, is just the quality control of Scarlet and Violet. I think that's probably one of the main frustrations collectors have. We don't expect every card to come out of a pack PSA 10, but man, the centering's off on Scarlet and Violet, way off. And I did a video on this talking about average PSA 10 percentage based off the amount of cards that get sent for all of Sword and Shield sets. I went all the way from base through to Crown Zenith, and then I looked at the current Scarlet and Violet, okay? And roughly the average percentage of PSA 10 based conversion rate. And what that means, of course, if you send 10,000 cards have received a PSA grade for a particular card and 6,000 have come back 10s, then you're going to be sitting at 60%, because 6,000 out of 10,000, of course, is 60%. So basically the whole of Sword and Shield era, and most people would have been straight from packs, straight to sleeve, straight to top loader, straight to grading company, okay, was sitting around 60 to 65% PSA 10 conversion rate. That tells you quality is pretty damn good. Now we've all of a sudden changed to silver borders, and I don't know if the wheels just fell off because we've changed the silver borders, but we're ticking along around 30 to 35% PSA 10 conversion rate. So that's pretty much what it has. It's halved. The conversion rate has halved. So we're getting cards out of the block that just are off center. They've got factory nicks in them. Maybe there's some scratches to the surface. Maybe there's hollow lines. Whatever the reason might be, grading companies aren't taking as kindly to them as they did Ladder, Sword and Shield. You've got the same printing company using, I imagine, the same machines printing the cards. So what's changed? Is it the grading company? Is it Pokemon? Is it the printing facilities? Is it the silver borders? Has that somehow thrown things off? I don't know. Like you could probably say it's maybe a combination of a few things. Is there some conspiracy around the grading companies making it life harder? I don't know, but something like a PSA 10 Obsidian Flames Charizard, it's popped for PSA 10 versus the amount of cards that have been sent in. The ratio is actually quite skewed, more so than what it has been in quite some time. So, that's going to make a difference, and that's going to be an area that we'll have to see sort of play out and see where things sit. Now, the other thing that I've talked about in a fair few videos, and I don't even know how long I've been talking for now. Are we up to like 20 minutes? I don't know. You lose track of time pretty good. 25 minutes, 28 minutes, half an hour, who knows? Is where to sort of park your money when it comes to investing in 2024. And maybe I should have started with this, but if you're still listening and still hanging around, thanks for still listening. And hopefully this is the final bit of advice or little gem, little nugget at the end of the video. Hey, before I get into it, if you want to watch a pretty good series at the moment on, what's it on, Stan? Your Honor, with Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. Brilliant series. Great cinematography, really good acting. Bryan Cranston is a bit of a genius. If you want to watch something good, go watch Your Honor on Stan. I'm watching it at the moment. I think I've got about 3 episodes to go in season 2, and it's been fantastic. So do yourself a favour and watch it. Anyway, what were we up to? Where to invest your money in 2024? Well, I've done a few videos on this, and my philosophy is pretty simple. Like, for me, I don't think you can go wrong with those sets that are just about to go out of rotation, Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, and then the sets that are due to go out of rotation next, okay? Which is your Astral, your Brilliant Stars, Silver Tempest, your Lost Origin, your Crown Zenith, but particularly those 4 main sets. I think on the long term, the main sets, booster boxes, have just proven to be a better investment than elite trainer boxes for a lot of cases. Not always though. We've seen some crazy XY examples where elite trainer boxes are worth more than booster boxes, and we've also seen some percentage gains greater, like something like Unbroken Bonds elite trainer box has a higher percentage gain from retail than what the booster box has. But for the most part, particularly with the amount that elite trainer boxes get printed now, booster boxes seem to be the better investment. So I don't think you're going to go wrong in 2024 parking your money into any of those sets that are going to go out of rotation next. There is still a chance that things like Astral, Lost Origin, Silver Tempest will get another reprint. There's 2 camps in there, isn't there? The ones that will say, well, it's still in rotation, so why couldn't Pokemon reprint it? And then there's a camp that goes, well, that just makes no sense. Like, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Why would you reprint old sets when you're trying to push buyers to get your new product? From the wholesale chain down, we're printing it, we're packaging it, we're giving it to distributors. Distributors need to sell it to stores. Why would they want to make it harder on themselves to sell new product, the new set? What's coming out next? Temporal Forces. If someone could buy Lost Origin, for argument's sake, at the same sort of price off a wholesaler, if you're a store, you're going to go, yeah, give me the Lost Origin. Yeah, okay. Like, I can buy them both at, $90 a box, wholesale. Yeah, give me Lost Origin over Temporal Forces. You sort of should, as a company and a business decision, you're sort of shooting yourself in the foot doing that a little bit, because you want to push your new product. That's the one you're advertising. That's the one you're printing. That's hot on the printer now. That's the newest set. They're the ones you want to sell. You don't want to clog it up by, muddying the water with an old set, do you? I don't know. So I'm sort of sitting in the camp that I would be. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'd be extremely, extremely surprised if either Lost Origin, Silver Tempest, or Astral Radiance was ever reprinted. There you go, I said it. Highly unlikely. And keep in mind, Astral didn't get a reprint when Silver Tempest and Lost Origin got their reprints back in September last year or whenever it was. And if you look at Astral's PSA 10 population, it's a lot lower than the rest of those alt art trainer gallery sets. So is that going to be a bit of a sleeper where it's not short printed, not at all, but is it is it less printed than those other sets? Quite possibly. So that could prove to be a bit of a sleeper when it comes into that. So that's where I'd be parking my money. 2024, I'd still be picking up Lost Origin, Silver Tempest, Astral, Brilliant Stars if you can get it at a good price, Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign. In Australia particularly, I'm going to do a video soon or just done it. It depends when I upload, around capital gains tax and buying something for under 500 Australian dollars. You don't have to pay capital gains tax on that when you sell it. So that's another thing to think about. Compared to say buying a box like Evolving Skies for $650 or $700, if you sell that, you're going to have to pay capital gains tax on it. Whereas in Australia, you don't have to if you purchase a collectible for under $500. There's a few things that come into play there. Wow, I don't know how long we've been talking. Literally, I haven't stopped this video. I haven't paused it. I haven't done anything. It's just been me chatting. I think I've almost run out of things to say. So hopefully you've picked up something. I think, the future for Pokemon in 2024 will be bright. I think we're going to see more and more sets get pumped out. Temporal Forces is not long after Paldean Fates. We'll probably see at least, you'd think, another 2 sets for the year, possibly 3, which will give us another 5 or 6 set year. Onwards and upwards, hey? You can take the AirPods out. You can switch the Bluetooth off in the car. You can turn the telly off if that's what you're doing. I'm Michael. This is Poke Oz. Catch everyone next time.